Welcome to the Paul Has Fun podcast. I'm Paul, and on this podcast, I dig into my hobbies. I also document my life and interests. Thank you so much for spending time with me. All right, gentlemen, we just came out of seeing Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. David is here with me. Jason is here with me.
Yeah.
No, it's funny like when I think about it, and I probably said this before in another podcast, we've honestly seen several movies for years now. And I just think that that's kind of cool to say that. But, we're going to go a couple rounds, and of course, if you guys want to make any comments. Now, I'll go with Jason first this time. Jason, what are your thoughts on Black Panther, Wakanda Forever? And welcome back to the podcast for the both of you.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Cheers.
Yeah, so Black Panther, Wakanda Forever was one of the most emotional Marvel Universe movies, I think, except maybe from the first Black Panther. Like, these are very emotional, deeply involved movies. I think, more than the average Marvel movie. And, and for that, I really, appreciate it. Because I like how they make these movies very different from each other. And they give the directors their way and stuff. And Ryan Coogler, I think, did an excellent job. It's definitely not without its faults, but I enjoyed it a lot. I thought they did a great tribute to Chadwick Boseman in the beginning, especially we're going to do spoilers here, and you're going to be spoiled a little bit. But the biggest punch is so unexpected when they pull out the Marvel title. And it's all silent except wind, and you see Chadwick Boseman's face, and it really put tears in my eyes. It was like, wow, it really punched me in the gut, and that was totally unexpected because I thought it was going to be some forced thing, and this is so subtle, and it's really, it was really cool. I thought it was really cool.
Was that the very beginning of the film?
When
the title
in the beginning of the Marvel fanfare, and then you see the heroes and everything. Right. It was all just Chadwick Boseman.
Damn.
Yeah.
Different cuts or just his face?
No, just different cuts.
Different cuts.
In the title, Yeah, and that's what made him emotional in the beginning.
I think they put out a certain one with the actual, the regular music, when he actually passed away. Right. But then this one they changed the tint. I think the color was different, and it was it
was purple.
It was purple.
Black
okay,
and
right,
purple.
right.
Yeah.
And then they had this blowing wind sound, and it was really well done. Anyway. They changed some parts of the story, in terms of, especially, I think, like we said, the origins of the Submariner. I don't even think they said the Submariner in the movie.
Origins of the Submariner?
The origins. Origins. I'm sorry, not the oranges. The origins.
The origin story.
Maybe I saw his hat. That's why these are orange hat. But then the
Bronx represent.
I think it was. But anyway, in the end, it's a total. It's a great movie about war and protecting your people and your country, just like the first one. Is that okay? Well, we'll be okay. If you want to move over there, that's fine too. But anyway,
need the outlet.
that's my first round. And what do you think, David? About that?
Dave, what do you think about?
I missed the first part of the funeral, and I walked in when Namor first attacks. I believe that's the first attack, when he first attacks. Yes.
Yes.
I thought, from what I saw, I thought it was an adult film, which was great. It didn't placate to Disney owns. No, Disney doesn't own this. Yeah, Disney owns Marvel.
Yes, sir.
It did not feel like somebody was like, "Hey, let's market to the kids. Let's market to." It was an adult film. It didn't talk down to anybody who might be younger. It wasn't vulgar, but it wasn't placating to try to be nice. It was just simply an adult movie. You could be an adult and watch this and not feel like it was dumbed down. Everybody acted like adults. I loved the character difference between when the princess was just the princess and when she finally became the Black Panther. It's like she studied Chadwick Boseman because she literally acted like her, quote, brother, unquote. I don't know if you noticed, it was eerie. She did a great job at acting just like him as King. Did anybody else notice that?
No, I'm buying what you're selling right now. I'm just listening to you.
Yeah, I noticed the character shift. Yeah. It was the best character shift since, who's the guy from How I Met Your Mother? The gay guy.
You mean Doogie Howser?
Yes. What's his name?
I know who you're talking about. I know you're talking. Neil Patrick Harris.
That was the best character transition over time, a short amount of time, or maybe a long time. Well, a short amount of time. As the years-long shift of the
Neil Patrick
Harris character of the commander in Starship Troopers, who's like really young and innocent. Then as the years go by, you suddenly see him again, and he's like this hardened commander. Total character shift. I think was the best character shift since that. I'm not kidding.
No, I'm listening.
Remember, he got accolades for that. He was like the only one in the movie who played it seriously, while everybody else didn't.
More on Black
Panther
forever.
But I'm saying her. Like that was the best. Okay, and my only beef with the film, literally, is a few obvious mess ups with whoever the VF.
We're gonna go a second round for the cons. I'm thinking. You know what? I'm thinking maybe we'll go one round pros, second round cons.
Okay. And then the scores.
Then third round scores. No, we'll continue, David.
Well, then the pros would be, I really thought it was a great idea. I was wondering how they were going to handle King T'Challa's death. And I guess it was a virus. I guess they got their cue from COVID, I guess, or something. But I guess the virus would be the best example, just like in that one-off comic of Silver Surfer when he goes to Reed Richards to ask if he could help find out how to cure his cancer, because his suit is giving him cancer, and he dies at the end of the comic.
Wow.
I don't know if you ever read that.
No, I didn't.
It was a really great read and sad at the end, but that's how you kill something that's pretty invincible.
Right,
They use the virus, so I thought that was a great idea. And other than that, I'll wait for the cons, but I thought it was like close to a 10.
Wow. Okay. This movie definitely honors Chadwick Boseman throughout the whole movie. He's always there present. His presence is always felt throughout the movie, and I thought that was a very good job by Ryan Coogler. The acting is phenomenal. The music is phenomenal. The sounds, because this is like so unique, and it has like, of course, like what I would assume are like kind of like African sounds when the characters are introduced, and now you have like some almost like Mexican kind of sounds when you have the Atlantean. I don't know, the folks from Talculcana. I'm butchering that. I'm sure the underwater folks, they have their own like kind of sounds and stuff like that.
Speaking Mayan, I believe.
Speaking Mayan, I think that's the language.
One word comes to mind, if I may interject: authenticity.
Yes.
Even if it wasn't real, who knows? But it sure felt authentic.
100%.
Holy crap. And like every language.
Yeah, so
it's great. Okay.
Visually, the movie is stunning in the sense of the scene that sticks out, and it's one in the trailers, like when Namor is coming down to his throne. That scene was fantastic. When Namor takes Shuri to his city, that was fantastic. And in my mind, I was like comparing that between that and Aquaman. And I like the Aquaman world, and this world is more earthy, is more like kind of realistic and stuff. But visually amazing, acting was fantastic, and let me tell you, Lupita Nyong'o, this woman is gorgeous. Every time she came on screen, I was just like, a lot of the women in the movie are beautiful, but like her when she came on screen, every single time I was like, oh my God, this woman is so gorgeous, But yeah, so
here.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Acting fantastic, visually amazing. The movie as a whole, I thought was very good, but I have definitely some cons with this movie. But yeah, overall, those are my pros. And like I said, and I also feel that they really honored Chadwick Boseman's movie. Like, he was always felt in this movie. His presence was always there. I know I'm repeating myself, but I do want that to be known because there's been a bunch of movies that have come out recently where a main actor has passed. And it's just kind of like a little part that's mentioned in the end. The movie that comes to mind is that Fast and Furious movie where kind of Paul Walker's mentioned here and there, but then the movie takes place. But this one is kind of like T'Challa's really in the movie still, while all the events are going on. And for some folks, I can see how it could be very emotional because this is a person that like they were taken from us too soon and they had a lot more to give, So those are my pros about the movie. Okay, we're going to go now with the cons. And this time, David, you go first with your cons, and then Jason, and then I'll go.
Yes, my only pet peeve with the film are a few sequences where the visual effects jarringly were out of step with the incredible effects that were going on. And then, like, all of a sudden, like, maybe some team just was not doing their job.
Or certain aspects may have been like rushed.
But you would see really cool stuff happening, and then all of a sudden, one or two people or character, like warriors, would just like suddenly look like the. I'm sorry, I'm going to bring up analogies.
Go for it.
But at some point, some of the characters, particularly the sea scene with the battle, the big battle,
the end scene,
the big battle with the ship, the big ship. It seemed like some of those characters had the same movements as the very first, or as the Goblin fight in the very first Spider-Man movie, in the warehouse scene, where it's clearly like just animated characters and it doesn't really look that cool.
Yeah.
Remember that scene? That's what it looked like. A lot of, like every now and then, like just like, and I was like, whoa, it was jarring. Because I was enjoying it, and then it was like, oh yeah, that's CGI. That's like really bad. So that bothered me a lot. Like, if you're gonna make something this cool, quality control it. Q&A it, quality assurance. That's what I have to say.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any other pros that you wanted to mention?
Pros? I already mentioned the pros.
Pros or cons? I mean, there's anything else that you want?
Cons? No other cons except those glaringly obvious.
Some VFX that were like a little wonky for you.
Like I wouldn't even. I'm mentioning it, so that's how bad it was. Yes, at some point. Not the whole thing. I'm just saying.
Just little bits, yeah.
Like it's such high quality, and then these little moments
peppered
stick out.
with
peppered with it. Yes.
Jake?
Yeah, I was actually going to say one scene in particular with my cons. I was going to say, like, there was a couple scenes where I think Shuri's face was like seen from the, she was in the ship. And then it looked terrible, like in terms of like, you could just tell it was like
green screen
or something.
Yeah,
exactly. So we did that scene and like you said, a few scenes that are like where they're flying around.
When she's in the flying machine ship.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, but other effects are incredible. Yeah, they're like it was so beautiful,
so beautiful, so
nice,
well done, so realistic.
I wanted to piggyback on your point.
Yeah,
I thought that the scene when it looked like 100% green screen was when she was looking down at Namor at the end and had the blade to his face and like the background looked really like super green screen because like the line around her head looked weird. She was like this. She was like and that was a very emotional scene. But that part like it just kind of took me out of it. But
Thank
Jason.
you. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but Jason, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then I think it's the whole like pace of it, and it's not like super duper polished in terms of like the pacing, and it's like a little wonky. Say that word again in the pacing of it. And I think it could have been a little bit better. Like the first Black Panther I think was like perfect, right? It was like in terms of the pacing and everything. This one, I don't know. It just seemed like a few scenes were rushed. We got into the I guess.
Could you be specific about what was rushed?
Like I was just spending more time with both like the people of Namor, the people of Wakanda. And then, and I know there were certain talking parts in the beginning, like people were like, I think that's when the guy fell asleep because there were certain talking parts. So I'm not saying like just make it slow for the purpose of being slow.
Yeah,
but
I fell asleep too.
But then, but in terms of like, I don't know, it was like a little edited weirdly. I thought like it just felt weird in some parts. Like it specifically, I have to watch it again and say, see, this is how that was. But I think also there's a little bit on the too preachy side, but just a little bit in terms of like, but it's almost not there. But it's just like a touch on the preachy side.
Be more specific?
In terms of like the end, like in terms of him, like her seeing the Killmonger, and then. I don't know, I wish it was a little more subtle. It was like, are you going to do what your brother did? Are you going to do what I did? And then she did that, and then it was like, I don't know. And then when she had the blade down, okay, I don't know. It just seemed like a little bit in terms of like, how can I say, like...
How dare them preach that an eye for an eye is not a good thing?
No, right. No, but the thing is that I wish they would have done a little bit more subtle. But of course, the moral of the story is there, and it's just a little. I think they could have done a little bit better, just a little bit better.
Well, I think,
it's of course, they show it very well. Like they're showing these two amazing, powerful, and like amazing warriors on both sides, and the way they fight, and the way the defenses, like they're almost equally as powerful. They have their strengths and their weaknesses, and it's a shame like that. Those kind of places can, not come together, and like, well, they do at the end. But then you see how Namor is like thinking of something on the sneaky side. But that's how he is, I know.
Right.
But you just kind of wish that instead of fighting, let's team together and be stronger. Because later,
that's funny. I didn't take
there's going to be other threats, like
bigger threats.
Yeah, but
bigger
I also
threats.
didn't take. I didn't. Namor eventually joins the event, the Fantastic
Oh
Four.
yeah, and he was part of the
And
Illuminati.
Avengers,
He was not really part of it.
He was part of the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Oh, that's over my head. I don't know what that is. But
That's okay.
no, I really don't know what that is. But I was going to say the preachy part. Was it that her anger is why Killmonger popped up instead of T'Challa?
Yeah.
I mean, we know that he's dead as a person, but
I think
is that
so.
the idea that
I
her
think so.
anger took over and
so.
that's why he popped up?
I think so. Yeah.
She's consumed by vengeance.
Yeah, she's
Right.
consumed.
And like this is the figure that actually material. It's kind of like if you have you're thinking about something and you have a dream, and that thing kind of pops up.
But then but then again, maybe.
Like that a little
But
bit.
then when I could also take that back a little bit because a lot of kids are watching it, so they have to kind of like say it like more
Because it's
Be
owned by
preachy.
Disney.
Be
no,
preachy.
right, and it has to. Well, I'm talking about like more.
It's also a moral code of the movie.
I shouldn't say preachy. I would say rather. I wish it was a little more subtle in that way. But they have to kind of make it straight, though. I do admit because they're showing this to a lot. A lot of kids are going to go see it.
Let's
So
not forget what
they're not
Killmonger was, though. I mean, his message was pretty clear.
Oh, I know.
And I think
I know.
everybody was shocked when they saw Killmonger. Were you?
Oh, I know.
Were you?
I know. Yeah.
Were you shocked? When you
I
saw
want to let him finish because I have a lot to say.
Okay.
So.
So anyway, but
I'm not rushing you.
That is
Just take
the
your time.
I guess the finish of my cons. Yeah, let's do that. Thank you.
All right. I did want to mention a couple more pros that I forgot about in us talking. I love the surprises in the movie. The surprise of Killmonger showing up. The surprise of Angela Bassett dying. I didn't expect her to get killed. I really did.
David was like, wow.
Yeah, exactly. That surprised me. And I like those surprises. And also, I thought that Namor, I was okay with him, the race changing him, but I thought he was great.
I'm sorry, did you say the race changing him?
Yeah, like from
Because
being
he
a
was
white
supposed to be
character.
Japanese? I thought he was Japanese or Asian when I read the comics.
Oh, then I don't mind them making.
No, I think he's
sense.
half white, right?
Yeah.
In the original.
But either way, they made him, and they made the whole civilization like some Mayan Aztec thing. I thought that was great, and I thought the way he looked and his powers and everything, super cool.
Oh, yeah,
like you
yeah,
just
yeah.
feel like this guy's a threat, and also the way that he acted, because Namor in the comics could be very black and white sometimes.
No,
Like,
no, for
we're gonna
sure.
fuck him up, or we're not. But what are we doing here? And he's very kind of
No,
like,
and that
and he
was
could be
good.
very
That-
like,
that
oh, we're
aspect was
friendly,
very
but then
good.
I'll threaten you. And he came across like that in the movie, and I really liked that. So those are some of the pros, the surprises, and I thought, like I said, Namor was fantastic.
He does battle the Hulk in the comics, by the way.
No, let me finish, please. Let me finish.
Okay.
I thought he was presented super well, and I look forward to seeing him again. Now my cons. This movie could have been a Disney Plus series, because this is a movie of side characters, and Disney Plus is good for that. This could have been a very expensive, great Disney Plus series because of the pacing. Because sometimes you're like, what are we doing here? Like, this movie's like, where are we going here? And okay, we're grieving, that's cool. You take as much time as you want grieving, but it could have been broken up into episodes in a Disney Plus show. I really believe that. Another thing was, in the beginning, I came into this thinking that a lot of this was going to be very... I do not like this current direction that the MCU has been taking the last few months, where it's very female-centric, and I'm very pushed back against that. And this movie definitely goes into that. I don't mind it though when it's good storytelling, or when the characters are endearing. I think something that Ryan Coogler does really well, the conversations between characters are very sincere. I think that's like a superpower that he has,
right.
And it didn't surprise me that Michael B. Jordan was in this movie, because there's him and Ryan Coogler working in everything together. They make everything together, So it was a great surprise to see him. But like I said, cons. I felt it was too long. This would have been a better Disney Plus show, I thought. It's a show of side characters. I'm not crazy about it, Marvel as a whole, and the movies being so female-centric. Now we have, Riri Williams was in this movie. She was cool, but I don't care to see an Ironheart series, which is what we're going to get on Disney Plus. I don't want to see Echo. Who cares about that? I don't want to see Agatha Harkness. like all these female shows. Like I don't give a fuck about these shows. But then I didn't even finish She-Hulk. Like I only saw one episode of She-Hulk, the one with Daredevil was on it, and the rest of it I heard it was bad, and I just like, and that was the first Disney Plus show, Marvel show that I avoided. So like them being so female centric, and even some YouTubers calling it the MCU, I'm not crazy about it. But in this movie, I went into this movie with that kind of agenda in my mind, but this movie kind of sold me on the opposite end because like I enjoyed what I saw, but it still could have been a Disney Plus show. I really believe that because, like I said,
you mentioned side characters though.
Yeah, because
these are side characters by default because the dude's dead in real life.
100%.
So
I understand
logically, it could only go this way because that's usually what happens.
But
when
I don't think
royalty...
this needed to be a feature film with as long. And I felt the movie was long too.
Yeah, but because it's Black Panther, it had to be a feature film. I mean, maybe they could have made a different one, but they were just like, with the time they had, and they're just trying to do the best they could.
Yeah.
But they couldn't say, oh, we're not going to make any more and just do...
And it couldn't be a male.
I mean,
that couldn't be a male.
No, I mean, they could recast him. Like, there's even folks now saying, you should have recast him. And another thing is, I don't understand what is it that killed him in the beginning of the movie. Like, maybe you guys picked that up, but I didn't.
You mean the virus?
Is that what, like, what virus of what? Like I just said, oh, he's sick. He's about to die, and like Shuri's like trying to help him, but it never said, oh, he died of this. And I was like, he just died?
I think I heard Angela Bassett say at one point something about a virus killing your brother.
Yeah,
that's all she said.
I didn't
it wasn't very, very specific.
No, it was like, what is it exactly?
But we know what viruses do, so they kill.
Yeah, they don't kill everybody though. But yeah, influenza is a virus. We're still here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah. So those are my complaints. Like I really felt this could have been a Disney Plus show. Yeah, like a really expensive, good looking. Because like I said, visually this movie is stunning. And minus those like little, weirdo effects and parts. But it could.
Let me ask you, just since you pointed out females.
Yeah.
Would you like an Elektra series? Is that a side character to you? Or
Elektra's a side character. I don't care. Yeah.
Wow.
All these characters are side characters, and let me tell you, like,
Elektra.
Yeah, Elektra.
Phoenix.
Yeah, side characters, dude. Like, I don't consider them main characters.
Last question about females.
Sure.
Is there a female superhero that you think does deserve her own series or film?
No, like film? When it's good, I'm with it. Like I thought the first Wonder Woman was fantastic. The second one was trash.
Right.
It wasn't complete trash, but it wasn't good.
Okay. So Wonder Woman.
Yeah, no, but
Anybody
what I'm
else?
saying, if it's done good with a story, like I thought Black Widow was okay. Did you see Black Widow?
The effects were a problem for me, but actually it was a silly movie.
Yeah, thank you.
So, I think
not because she's a woman.
I mean, I don't like them. Like, so Riri Williams is not going to be our Iron Man. I don't care for that. I would give me another Tony Stark. I don't want Riri Williams. Like I said, I don't care about Ironheart. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Like I said, these are the shows. I'm not going to watch them. And I've watched all the Disney Plus stuff this year.
You didn't answer my question about the Marvel.
No, but
is there a Marvel female superhero?
Let me finish my point, please. Right. Like this past, like I would even say since Shang-Chi, which is probably the last really good Marvel movie, because everything else has kind of been okay to good. And all the Disney Plus stuff, Moon Knight, what were some of the other ones? It's not coming to mind now. Hawkeye, Moon Knight, what was the other one? They were just kind of all just like okay.
Right.
And it just kind of soured me. What If was good. I like What If.
Those were good.
But I would even say that I think that's a general consensus. I'm about to finish, guys. I'm sorry going so long. With the Marvel stuff right now, our theater was not full at all tonight. And we've come to these movies in the last few years, and on a night like tonight, with a movie like this big, this movie theater would be packed, and we'd be seeing a ton of people in here. But there's not a lot of people in here. And I just wanted to make that point, too. I just noticed that on my way here. Okay. But David, go on ahead.
Well, there also wasn't a recession when Black Panther came out, the first one. Now we're in a huge recession.
But still,
down. People just don't have money right now.
I don't know about that.
But also
to people like bread and circus when bad things are happening. This is my opinion. I could be wrong.
Right.
I'm not.
AMC stock is just like tumbling.
Like all stocks. Disney stocks. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but AMC in particular might go out of business. For real this time.
So do you guys have any thoughts before we go to our review scores?
Just if you could just answer the question about the Marvel female comic character hero that you think you would like to see a movie, or that does exist or hasn't existed.
It could be
Wonder Woman, right?
I mean,
said
that's
Marvel.
DC.
Marvel.
It could
Okay.
be any Marvel character as long as if it's really good. Because let me tell you, the first Captain America I thought was good, but that Winter Soldier was freaking amazing.
Yes.
So if they come out, it could be any character, but if the story's good, then dude, I'm down. But it has to be a good story, not like pushing a female agenda where the men are dumb and they can't fend for themselves, or they're trolls,
Right.
and the women are the strong ones,
Right.
and they know everything, and they're always right, and you can't talk bad about them, because that is an agenda that's in a lot of TV today. That's what I wanted to say.
Well, don't get mad at me, but
No, I'm not.
the question was, is there a female Marvel
And I answered your
character?
question.
No, you didn't mention one woman.
No, I don't have to mention a woman. I just said to you, like, it could be any character. I'm answering your
I
question
heard
now.
before you said
Okay,
female.
it could be any character as long as the story is fantastic. If the story is fantastic,
All right,
I'm there.
but that is
any
different
female
from what you
character.
said before regarding females.
So, like for example, like if you said you liked the Winter Soldier, and then if the Winter Soldier, if it was the exact same movie, but instead of having being about two male characters, and they were just switched with female characters.
That would be fantastic.
Then that would be fine
because the story was great.
Because the story and the
The
direction.
story
and
is
the
always
action.
rules. The story,
Exactly, right.
not the special effects, not anything
Right.
else. It's the story.
That's what you're.
The story is always key.
Right,
The story is number one.
So
The
Captain Marvel for you was preachy. I thought it was a little
Captain
preachy
Marvel
at
was
the end.
okay. Captain Marvel wasn't that great like that.
Right.
It had some cool moments, but like the third act, and I would even say that about the first Black Panther. The third act was kind of like acts 1 and 2 great, and then the third act kind of just goes down. So, and I would even say that about the first Black Panther, where the fight with Killmonger and everything. It was kind of like this is looking very rubbery, very
bit
video
much,
games.
a bit much.
Yeah, like a video. I'm controlling a video game character because he looks so rubbery.
Right.
But all right, let's go.
Scores.
Yeah, scores and also final thoughts. And I'm not going to interrupt anybody. I want you guys to go, But scores and final thoughts. Jason.
Yeah, I would say 8.5 for me. 8.5. I thought this was a solid entry. I think business-wise, they definitely had to put it on the big screen because there's just too many people that are going to come. Like it's like a business choice. Even though I think it was still very good, and I'm glad it was on the screen. But let's say it could have been even if it was like going to be not so good, and then it would be only good as a series. They're still going to want to put it in the theater because they know people are going to come. It's just a business choice, I think. Anyway, I think, like I said before, just the little bit of the pacing, and but anyway, all in all, it was a great movie. Like I said, it brought out a lot of emotions, different emotions, like and just like the trust issue. Like you see how like the leaders of they show how the leaders of countries just like are doing things in certain ways to either defend or protect, and also go on the offensive. And it's interesting.
And the subversive tactics of governments as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. Very well done. I don't even know the actor who played the Submariner, but yeah, he was excellent. He was very good. He was very good as a Submariner, as a Namor. Like he was scary. It was like, like Killmonger.
Oh,
Killmonger was scary.
We're friends, and then I'll kill you too.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Yeah.
Like Killmonger, they showed why. They showed why he was the way he was, and that was really great. And they showed how this guy why he was the way he was. You wish he didn't have so much bitterness though, but that's just the way he is, and. But at the same time, he's protected his people, so there's a lot of stuff going on. That was interesting, all this stuff, aspects, all these aspects. I thought it was a great movie. 8.5, yeah. David?
Her beads were being tracked all along. That's crazy.
And that character, I'm sorry.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, because she was introduced in Black Widow. She was in also Winter
series,
Soldier
right?
and Falcon, but I forgot her name.
Like Dreyfus?
No, her real name or the character?
No, the character, because she's the same character in all these things.
Yeah.
But I forgot who she is. But I'm sorry, Dave.
I'm assuming she has a lot more power than the way she acts.
Oh yeah, she was like in control of the U.S. agent, who's a big character in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
She's gonna be in a lot of the
especially
movies,
since William Hurt is dead.
And Harrison Ford's replacing him now.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's gonna be Captain Ross now, but. I'm going to zip it. I want to hear what you have to think. What's your final score?
Final score is 9.5. And the reason why it's so high I would be along with Jason, but I'm gonna go with the whole. I hope I don't sound too woke here.
No, and like you said,
think the inclusionary business aspect. If you want to really think about it, it's trying to get that South American audience. Mexicans haven't really been included to have a character who's a hero. Quite frankly, I could totally see South America really liking that neighbor's been in, that their kind or representation is included in the MCU. I can't think of any other Mexican hero. Can you?
No.
I mean, besides Sombrero Man, but besides.
I mean, with Kamala Khan,
that was a joke.
With Kamala Khan, you have
who?
With Kamala Khan, you have like a Middle East kind of like a representation.
Yes.
And now, yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that. That's good.
Yeah. So, for that reason alone, and the authenticity factor of how the language was, I don't know if they're real, but it certainly sounded real, and so that's why I give it such a high score. Just that alone.
And you had a fun time, yeah.
Yeah, it was a well-crafted film, aside from the few CGI mistakes. I agree with everything you both said, except for the woman aspect.
And then just to...
But that's, we can go into... You can come on my podcast and talk about
it. Like you said...
I'm not woke either, but...
I remember what you said.
We all need... Everybody needs representation who hasn't had representation for the last 400 years and for the last 50 years in film and television. And the last 100 years.
No, I think but what Paul is saying is like... Not make it so obvious, like just make it like you can have representatives do it in a certain way and not make it like
Okay, and my response to that is that when it comes to film or current events or cultural things, there's always a pendulum, and that pendulum tends to go up a lot, then it goes the other way around, and then eventually it gets to the middle. And for the last history of filmmaking, the pendulum has really been the other way when it comes to people that are against or not in favor of people who look like me. I'm African American or black or whatever you want to call it. And the same goes for people of Latin origin, which you look like, but I don't really know your ethnic origin.
I'm Dominican. I'm Latin.
Okay, so, and some might say black. Of course, if you're Dominican, you get pissed off. Not you.
No.
You know what I'm saying. But you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
I'm not,
No, not
at
all.
But I think.
So I think over time, maybe that pendulum will not be so preachy. But for now, it is, just like it was when people were doing really stereotypical stuff when I was a kid, like growing up wanting to be the lead guy in a film, and all I could ever get asked to do, and I've turned down billions, is the bad guy who raped someone, or the bad guy in Law and Order,
gangster,
or whatever, all the time. Now I'll do it because now it's better. It's not 100% better, but it's better enough for me to take a role as a bad guy.
And you see so many more.
So if I were a woman. Okay, you get the point. I think you know what I'm trying to say.
I do. So 9.5.
Let that pendulum go back a little bit.
And I think, like the reason, also one of the big reasons why he says a 9.5, David said a 9.5 is like his very first reason, how it was very much for adults. It didn't talk down, and that was very well done. Yeah, that was very well done. Okay.
I'm down for representation, but of course I think these companies do it because they're just trying to make more money. And they don't do it because they feel great about doing it. It's just like there are honestly more women voters than there are men, and there's just more women. And that's a fact of life. There are more women on this planet than there are men.
Okay,
100%. So it's kind of like let's go ahead and cater to the women. Let's go ahead and the women.
Okay,
let me finish.
All right,
I'll let you speak.
I got a
let
great
me finish.
comeback for you with that.
So. Just don't force it down my throat.
I'm not. You mean them?
Not
right,
you.
Right.
You know, because I honestly do believe that if you go woke, you go broke.
Right.
Especially like when you're trying to preach to everybody, this is the way it should be, and this is like, oh no. Everybody's gonna turn their backs and walk away.
Right.
And then one can say, oh, Paul, if you feel this way, like why do you still come see these things? Why are you still spending your time and money on these things? I have actually unsubscribed.
People ask you that?
No, I'm just in defense. Like I've actually unsubscribed from Disney Plus because it just like the woke is like so high on that freaking thing. But what I'm ultimately trying to say, the review for this is an 8. Like I said, I just think this could have been a Disney Plus show, very nice, expensive Disney Plus show, but because it's long and like even with it being a show, it could have gotten even into more stuff. So this serves. This for me, like I said, was an A because it's a movie of side characters. You know what I'm saying? That are being promoted to be on an A level, and it's cool because everybody deserves to go from that B to A level. Black Adam was a total like B, C character who had his own movie. You know what I mean? So
I heard it was dumb.
It was mindless fun. Yeah. Mindless fun. Like I left it in my last review, which you can find on paulhasfun.com. And so an 8 for me. Like I said, a movie of side characters and introducing new characters that they, of course, they want you to consume and enjoy and stuff like that. I mean, I think it takes several movies to warm up to characters. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like Ironheart, maybe with a few. Oh, sorry, Dave. Maybe with a few movies, I'll be more about like Ironheart, and she wasn't a bad character, but not like I'm ready to speak. Yeah. Exactly, not like I'm ready to spend another 4 or 5 hours watching her show on Disney Plus because I'm not going to watch it.
About a character, which is about
So
right, there's trying to put too many things in one movie,
Which is okay because like we already knew these characters, and like I said, the power of Ryan Coogler is like I really was there when. And I'm telling you, Angela Bassett, like I said, the acting in this thing was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
She was
very
freaking
good.
amazing. She was just intense, and you felt for her. You know what I'm saying? Like when she needed help and stuff like that. And also, you felt like sometimes she could be like a little bit kind of like selfish. Like, this is for my family. Like, forget about the kingdom sometimes. Which is good because that's realistic. And, you guys were talking about Killmonger. I think the reason why so many people like Killmonger, because I think he's more realistic. When you talk about like the whole thing of like in the end and being preachy, that's what movies are. But like Killmonger.
So you like the Killmonger character?
But what I'm saying is like Killmonger is more like it's real life. Like no,
well, he's literally the guy that would be quote shoving it down your throat or people's throats who don't want to hear the woke thing anymore.
That is my complaint. That is my complaint sometimes. Like if white people are bad or the colonizers. And let me tell you something. That whole colonizer line, that's not cool. Because if you say that to maybe somebody else, then they could be very offended by that. But if it's a white person, you could degrade the white people sometimes. And I'm not cool with that.
You're not cool?
No.
How do you identify?
Oh, I'm
what
Dominican.
What world do you travel in, though? Let's be honest.
I'm Hispanic.
I know, but you could pass, couldn't you?
I could pass for a lot of things.
But you could pass for the most important. Let's put it that. Yes?
From all my life.
That brings me back all your life. That's very important.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because guess what? All my life I've been in this darker skin.
Yeah.
And therefore, I've never had the luxury of saying out loud to somebody else, oh, you know what? You're shoving that down my throat.
Well, now's your time.
I'm not mad at you. Let me explain.
Absolutely.
I don't care if it's a business decision that a business is making by saying, oh, we'll make more money by jumping on the, quote, inclusion wagon. All I know is that me, Paul, my life has been much better since this whole, quote, woke thing started.
100%.
I've been treated better. You wouldn't know what that's like because you've been living your life in the skin of the other side. So you don't know what it's like. I mean, just I know you don't have to believe me. I just made friends with a white girl who I was taking a cab here because she had to stop a cab for me in the year 2020 on today's date.
Let me ask
you. She had
you,
to stop a cab for me because she saw 2 cabs go by me.
Where did you grow up at? Where did you grow up at?
It doesn't matter. I'm telling you real world examples.
I'm going to tell you where I come from. I'm going to tell you where I come from.
I'm just telling you that my life has been better because of this whole woke thing. So I don't care if it was for business.
No, I'm listening to you.
It doesn't matter. The end result is that my life and people that live in my skin, our lives are just better in general.
Which is great.
That's it. I don't have to shove anything down anyone's throats because whoever says that has the luxury of saying something like that. Because it doesn't really ruin your life. Has it really ruined your life that somebody is shoving some wokeness down your throat?
Pushing an agenda on me? Yeah.
Has it really hurt you? Has it hurt you?
No, it bothers me.
But it just bothers you. But guess what? It's made my life and people who look like me fathomably better, like levels better. It really has.
That's great for you.
People have been more sensitive to.
That's great for you. Absolutely.
The way you say that makes it sound strange, though, when you say that's better for you, I'm glad for you. I don't need you to be glad for
We're going to end the podcast now.
No, don't end it.
Because we can continue to have this conversation.
Because it's not part of our review. I just wanted to make that point.
100%.
Because it still relates to the movies, though. It still relates to it. Because about the representation.
Because we can continue this conversation.
I know, but it's still about representation and what it means to those people in South America who grew up watching movies where they were never represented except seeing only the mugging, the Better Call Saul, or whatever, like where everybody is Latin and a bad guy. So it's just about the context. That's all I'm going to say. It's still about the movies. It's still about it. I'm not mad, just passionate, and you're talking to the real person here who's lived in this skin color as opposed to yours, and the difference between being bothered by a little wokeness versus.
And where were you raised, David? Like, where were you grow up at?
Brooklyn. Wait, you don't want to end it?
No, you want to continue this conversation? Let's continue. And where in Brooklyn?
In a very bad neighborhood.
So did I.
Very good.
And so did I.
Well.
So did I.
Okay.
And it's not foreign to me because I grew up in New York all my life, in Washington Heights, in the hood. I still live in the hood to this day.
Okay.
So it's not foreign to me that because a color of my skin that police haven't stopped me, they haven't frisked me just because of the way that I'm dressed or the way that I look because of the neighborhood that I live in.
Have you ever been arrested for absolutely no reason before in your life?
No, not yet.
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can tell you.
Well, I have been stopped and frisked before for no reason.
No, I've been arrested for no reason.
Yeah. So before we get into semantics,
you're looking at me.
Yeah. Before we get into semantics of
it's not
what's the worst,
that's actually what happened.
Yeah. So I'm not foreign to that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want this to be forced down my throat. The same way, like I think a gay agenda is also forced down the throat, and like teaching kids about being gay and being a different sex at a young age is a different thing
That's
too.
a little different. It's not. I'm not even in that arena. I'm a straight man.
I'm just saying
that. Be darker than everyone else because historically speaking, hey.
And I think
slavery was banned yesterday.
And I think
slavery was banned yesterday.
I think in a certain state.
It doesn't matter. It's the year 2022, and slavery was finally banned.
I agree with you.
I mean, hello, is that preachy? It looks like that wokeness finally got there. Finally, after.
But is it okay
years.
to like talk down to white people and like colonize and say these kinds of lines in movies?
I think
that's
okay.
It's
a matter of context. I think. All the years.
So the people have to be white apologists forever? Is it?
I don't think anyone who's white. I don't think it's really hurting their lives in the manner.
So if we say some things that are very derogatory to black folks in a particular way, that would bother someone. That would bother black folks. I really believe it.
It has been bothering us for decades. Yes.
And just so it's okay now to say it to white folks.
I just don't think it's going to affect somebody's life in the same manner that it would affect somebody like me. That's all. I just don't.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Jason,
I'm not for it. I don't think it's a nice thing to do.
Not at all to no one.
But I just don't think
to white folks and Spanish folks to nobody. Yeah.
Let's put it this way: if I told Bill Gates that he was a cracker, I really don't think he would care.
No, but that's very derogatory, and that could even be considered a racist.
Care.
No, but
because he's in power. That's the point.
But if you called your white friend,
yes,
a cracker.
Okay. Hey, Jason. You're a cracker.
It all depends on who
it
is.
Are you upset?
So if we're hanging out, yo, my nigga, what's up? That doesn't bother you? Because I didn't know we grew up with that.
I think
now as a 47.
Let me answer your question.
But let me finish.
You asked me a question.
I will answer it in a moment.
Okay.
As a 47-year-old adult and growing up with that, that's not foreign to me. That would bother me. That would bother me for somebody else.
You're in the same club as I. However. Yeah. I think what I'm upset about is people who aren't aware of history, and it's because of the ignorance of history is why it bothers me. I understand why people say it, and I'm old enough, just like you, to understand that the people who say it usually don't know the history of the word that they're using in the context of it, because most people aren't educated.
All right, we're going to end it there. Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
Anyway, I think we're all passionate about our feelings, and I think we can all get along. Right?
Of course.
That's why we're here. We've been doing this for years. We're going to continue doing this.
And I'm glad you didn't end the podcast, and I hope you put every single word of this in there.
It is context to what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And I love you both, and this is...
I love you, bro. You picked great seats again, as always.
This is Jason and David and Paul.
A white man.
It was a nice...
A white Jewish person. A black person and a Spanish person.
Too, by the way.
And you get 2 Jews and a Spanish person.
A
Catholic person.
But actually,
it was for right.
But technically, in the Jewish law, I wouldn't be considered Jewish because my mother was not Jewish.
Right.
My father was, and then by Jewish law,
the mother has
to be because you can prove that you're the son of the mother, but you can't really prove you're the son of the father because it could be someone else. Well, nowadays you can with the DNA and stuff, but
this is true.
This is just historically. But yes.
But in the end, we come together because we like these movies.
That's right.
We come together because we like these movies. We like fantasy. We like comic book. Yes. We come together, and you guys still choose to come and actually record stuff for me. And it's 3 o'clock in the morning, so I'm very grateful for the both of you.
For not ending it when you could have.
No, you're right. You were right. You know what I mean?
It's about right or wrong. It's just about letting us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Express ourselves.
So thank you guys. So thank you guys for. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. You guys are still here talking to me. So thank you guys for recording with me. And
one last word. I wish they would have done something at the end, like Kong or something. Or something. Like in all
after the credits.
MCU movies after the credits. In all the Marvel movies, like they all had a common goal. They were all leading towards Thanos, right? and I want that to start soon, because they haven't done that really yet.
Right.
Well, hopefully the next movie is Quantumania.
Right.
And
So then
Quantumania, like, Kang is going to be now like the Thanos, and they're going to start.
Right. So
excuse me, didn't Khan just die in some show? He just died.
Loki.
Yeah, but that's only one version of him, and did he die? Like his many versions.
See,
and he could manipulate time and So a lot of stuff going on there. Well, what's the name of the actor who was playing Kong? He was
Jonathan Majors was fantastic.
Yeah, he's a great actor. Yeah. By the way, if you haven't seen
Loki,
what's the western that he did with?
I didn't hear that was good.
No, I
know you're talking about
it.
The one on Netflix. It has like Idris Elba and Regina Jackson. It has
you mean the Black Western?
Regina King.
Yeah, the Black one. Regina King.
No, but I loved it. It was
really? I gotta see it. Look, I hadn't seen it.
He was great for me.
Did you see it though?
I didn't see it because I heard mixed reviews.
No. I
know the way you're talking about. It's like the Black Western on Netflix. Yeah, but I know you're talking.
But forget about that. The action and the the emotions too, because it's a revenge movie, is really good.
All right.
Great twist.
I'm gonna see it.
Great action.
Yeah.
It has something to do with some of the characters in that movie. What is it called? The Harder They Fall. Are in,
That's it.
Posse,
Gotcha.
That's it.
Anyway,
Jonathan Majors was fantastic in Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, that was great.
And he was amazing in that. Okay, we're gonna end it
now. A
now.
lot of stuff.
Thank you guys for recording with me.
All right.
Hopefully we'll get
home
together
safe.
for the next
We'll
one.
see you for the next Marvel movie.
Paul.
Yes,
Or the next
absolutely.
movie out, which is probably going to be Avatar.
Next month. Yes. Peace.
Okay. Peace out.